Hi there, and welcome to my talk about how to reinvent customer service to be digital first. I am Kate Leggett, a VP and Principal Analyst here at Forrester, and for the next 20 minutes, I'll be sharing our insights around digital customer service. So, it's been an unprecedented year and a half, hasn't it? Those are the words I hear to describe what we've all lived through in the last couple of years. I see businesses being whiplashed over this time. They closed down in the initial days of the pandemic. They pivoted to digital first customer service to interact with their customers. They had to field all these repetitive questions in the early days about how do I do contactless pickup? What happens to my loyalty programs? And at the same time, your employees, your agents all moved home, and businesses had to learn new ways of working where employees juggled the demands of their work with the demands of their family lives. And businesses had to pivot their business models every time regulations changed. And they had to change the way that they interacted with their customers. And those companies that weren't able to pivot quickly saw their business impacted. And the pandemic also did a great job at exposing all those operational holes in contact center operations, where as a customer, you felt them, for example, being put on hold for hours at a time, trying to get an answer to your questions. And your customers during this time, they also changed. Every one of us was impacted by the pandemic. Some of your customers had their health, their livelihood impacted, and they started to need help, maybe advice around financial counseling or mortgage adjustments or how to secure a government loan. And so what happened was that customer service became the lifeline for many companies, where agents working from home were really on the front lines trying to understand the unique needs of every single customer and really trying to do the right thing for them in a real empathetic, value-added way. And so to be able to do this, agents had to understand their customers and the emotions that they were bringing into the conversation. And customers, again, they expected a higher level of service. It's like what the screen says, that any information is available on any device at a moment of need. And your agents also needed this instant access to data, to customer information, to have the right conversation with your customers, to do the right thing for them. And so what we saw during this last unprecedented year and a half was that companies started to see customer service as a way to engage and nurture their customers, hold on to them, and grow their value. And we saw companies investing in customer service operations, much more than, for example, marketing or even sales operations. But where we saw the greatest investments were around digital customer service. And so we've identified 4 drivers of digital customer service and why it's even more important in this new unstable normal that we're living in today. And so the first driver here is all about valuing your customer's time. And the data point that I'm showing on the screen here is one of the most important data points that we have. It's 73% of customers say that valuing their time is the most important way to provide good service. It's all about making customer service easy and effective, allowing your customers to interact with you over the channel and touch point of their choice with as little friction as possible. And so you got to realize that your customers are always either on a screen or they're near a screen when they need help, when they want to interact with your customer service organization. And so what this means is that your customers are using self-service as a first point of contact with your customer service organization. So on the screen here, you see customers starting their journey on your website, on your mobile website, on a mobile app, and even via a chatbot. And self-service, if you do it well, really empowers your customers to find the information that they're looking for in an effortless way with as little friction in the process as possible. And another data point from Forrester is that 88% of contact center decision makers project that their self-service volumes are going to increase in the next 12 months. And again, because self-service, if it's done well, is a great way to provide that value-added service that your customers expect without compromising quality. And what we also find is that your customers will gravitate to the digital channels as well as a way to avoid navigating an arduous IVR and then sitting in queue waiting to get connected to an agent. So the second driver for digital customer service is the rise of asynchronous messaging. It's like SMS or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. These are just examples of messaging channels. And what these channels do is it allows customers to communicate with businesses using the modalities that they use in their daily lives. And it's because messaging and conversations have fundamentally shifted in the way that we interact with one another. And so what you want to do is use the ways that we as consumers interact with one another and extend it to a business conversation. Because basically what you're doing is you're not forcing new behavior for your customer base. And messaging, if you do it well, it's got a lot of advantages. First of all, it's asynchronous. So what it means is you can start a conversation with an agent, walk away from it, and come back to it. And the agent and the customer don't have to be connected in real time with one another. And messaging is also convenient because you get notified on your home screen when there's a new message. It's also a rich experience because you can send images and emojis and pictures, making communication easier with an agent. And it's also contextual because the agent knows where you are, for example, on the website or in the app. And the agent can easily answer questions in the context of the actions that you've done before reaching out and interacting with an agent. The third driver for digital customer service is really all around that customers expect more personal interactions in the context of who they are and what they've done. Again, I've talked about how customers expect easy, effective experiences that deliver engagement that keeps your customers loyal. But customers also expect companies to know who they are, what they've done, their prior purchases, prior interactions, their history, and indicators as well of what's important to them, perhaps their attitudes or life events or conversational styles, for example. And companies have to use all this data that they know about the customer's context to be able to support the customer and do the right thing for them in the context of what the customer is doing. And the fourth driver for digital customer service is all around automation and AI. And these are foundational technologies critical for any company who wants to be competitive. Because what happened was during the pandemic, we saw engagement volume skyrocket, and they would spike as a result of an event, like, for example, yet another government shutdown. And so what it meant is that customer service organizations have to automate as much of this interaction volume as possible to stay competitive, because they just can't keep adding headcount to their operations. It's just not economically viable. And so AI and automation can take over all the repetitive agent tasks and allowing the agent to focus on the customer's problem and the conversation that they're having with the customer. So at Forrester, we say that every action that is automatable should be automated. And we really think about a value chain of automation for the benefits of automation and AI. For example, at the lower end, automation and AI can help increase efficiency by automatically classifying cases or automatically routing work to the right agent queue. It can help reduce friction by escalating interactions to the right agent queue. It can empower customers to be able to self-serve. It can even understand the customer and their journey and understand distress points, for example, and proactively engage with the customer at the right point in their journey to be able to move the conversation forward. At Forrester, we see an increased demand for omnichannel, digital-first customer service solutions that deeply embed automation and AI. So on the screen here, you see a architecture for what these solutions offer. First of all, they support customers over a range of self-service and agent-assisted channels. Self-service channels are like chatbots, knowledge, communities. Agent-assisted channels are like chat, social, messaging, and even visual engagement solutions. These channels are supported by a unified layer of intelligence, of queuing and routing, and they can be used either standalone or integrated with a CRM solution. So as your customers demand self-service, digital-first customer service engagement, how do you become digital first? What are the steps that you need to add digital channels to your operations? So the first step that we think about or we recommend is to engage your customers over chat. And why start there? And it's because all demographics are comfortable using chat. Our Forrester data shows that 20% of adults, of US adults, that are over 55 years old are using chat to access personal information and interact with brands on a weekly basis. So all demographics are comfortable with chat. And so you want to start by adding chat to your website, to your mobile website, to your mobile app. And what you also want to do is think beyond just reactive, customer-initiated chat. You also want to proactively engage your customers at points of struggle or abandonment or friction in your customer journey. And what you'll do is you will start to uncover customer questions that are coming over chat. You'll be able to understand the words that your customers are using. And you will take a subset of these interactions and start creating automated conversations to be able to offload your agents and provide your customers with these reproducible answers to customer questions. You want to monitor the success of these automations and then basically just do it over again, rinse and repeat, and continue to monitor and optimize the amount of conversations that you can automate. So next, you also want to uncover the customer journeys that start beyond your own website and add web messaging to points that reduce the customer effort at the touch points that make sense. So on the screen here, for example, you're looking at Domino's that adds messaging to their Facebook page. It lets you place an order, track your order. Giant Eagle, they're a food and beverage retail company. They do the same thing. And by adding chat and messaging at these touch points that are not owned by your company, you're interacting with your customers where they're spending their time. Another example is Walmart. For example, it allows customers to interact with their brands right from Google Maps and Google Search. And Walmart's not the only company that does this. Dish Networks, Columbia Sportswear are two other companies that come top of mind that do exactly the same thing. So as you deploy chat and messaging to your properties, what you'll find is that a small portion of your customers, typically 10, 20% of your customers, will choose to interact with you over digital channels instead of picking up the phone and making a phone call. And so once your digital channels are operational, what you have to do is start tracking the efficiency of your agents and the customer satisfaction metrics. And with this data, it's going to allow you to manage and optimize your operations, to figure out the staffing that you need, the concurrency, numbers of chats that an agent can simultaneously handle. You'll be able to determine that. You'll be able to benchmark the effectiveness of these channels against your traditional voice channel. And you may even want to go to the extent of replacing your traditional phone number for customer service with digital first or digital only options for a small subset of your customers. And if you do this, you got to monitor your success metrics and slowly dial up the number of customers who are engaged with these digital only options. And then what you want to do is broaden the breadth of channels that you're offering to your customers. You want to broaden that digital footprint. Think about, for example, complex questions or the questions that may require some empathy from anxious or angry customers, like a dispute or a customer that needs financial counseling. These types of interactions are handled best over voice, but it doesn't mean telephony. You can also roll out digital voice or click to call. It allows a customer to initiate a phone call over voice over IP right from their laptops or their mobile phones. And it gives your customers just another way to connect with you. And it also lets your customers start an interaction over a digital channel like chat, for example, and then move it over to digital voice. And it empowers the agent with an understanding of the customer's context and their digital journey prior to the interaction that they're having with a customer. And in some cases, for some industries like travel, hospitality, or financial services, you may even want to think about visually engaging with your customers, like screen sharing or co-browsing. And this allows you to share documents so that you're able to onboard a new customer or to be able to help a customer looking at, for example, financial statements together. So moving to digital channels, it's a journey. You want to start slowly. You want to understand the inquiries that are coming in, and you want to start by automating as much of the repeatable inquiries as possible. You have to adjust and optimize your agent operations, and then basically just rinse and repeat. And you also, at the same time, want to continue to nudge your customers to be digital first. And this is because the phone channel is the most expensive means of delivering great customer experience. And automated channels are much more cost effective and also deliver engagement that's more in keeping with customers' expectations. So you may want to start by driving customers from the phone to chat or messaging, by deflecting customers who are using your IVRs and navigating an IVR to the chat channel. And so the interaction and the details of the customer and their needs can be captured in the IVR and then passed to a chat agent who can pick up the conversation and help the customer without any delay. And so what this allows you to do is to allow your digital agents to multitask, to improve experiences as well by eliminating or cutting down those long phone queue times and wait times for your customers. So as you move to digital channels, you want to pay attention to managing and monitoring the success of your digital operations. Of course, you want to track efficiency and productivity metrics, such as chat volume, containment, concurrency, chat agent utilization. These are all important metrics, but they're only a portion of metrics that encompass a balanced scorecard of metrics that really measure the full success of digital first operations. You also want to track measures of success like customer satisfaction, customer effort, net promoter scores. And then you want to tune these metrics as well for asynchronous channels, which measures discrete agent activities for each turn of the conversation. And then use this to calculate, for example, agent utilization and to forecast your agent capacity. So, key takeaways from how to move to digital first customer service. First of all, realize your customers have weathered an unprecedented normal in the last 18 months. They're coming in to every interaction with more emotion, needing more empathy. They want their time to be valued. They are gravitating to digital channels as a first point of contact. And omnichannel digital first solutions are mature and they're available and they do a great job at supporting digital operations. And what it means is you don't want to roll out the full stack of digital engagement solutions all at once. You want to start small. Start by deploying chat first, for example. Understand the types of inquiries, types of conversations that you are getting over your chat channel and start automating interactions. And then from chat and initial automations, broaden your digital footprint that you're offering to your customers. And what you'll see is that some of your phone volume gets diverted to these digital channels. You want to monitor operations and add automations at every step. And as you go along this journey, explore new measures of success for digital first operations. Use a balanced scorecard of efficiency, effectiveness, and customer success metrics. And again, as you monitor your operations, use learnings, again, to coach and train and up-level your digital agents to be able to support your customers with the quality that they expect. So thank you for listening to me, and I hope to be able to connect with you. My contact information is on the screen here. Feel free to reach out over email or over Twitter and contact me if you have any questions about this presentation. Thank you for your time.